Networking and Marketing Made Simple is for you, the business owner that has a product, service, or message that you truly believe in. My name is Scott Aaron, and each week we'll take a behind the scenes look at real world networking and marketing tactics while leveraging LinkedIn to get what you have in front of many more people. Thanks for spending time with me, and let's get started. So, establishing yourself as the expert in the space that you are in, uh, this is a topic that comes up often, not just for myself, but to Nancy as well. And we feel more strongly than ever with everything that's going on in the digital world, everything that's going on in the online world. Doing certain things to set yourself apart from other people in your industry or competitors, especially if you're that business professional, that coach, that consultant, that service provider that's using LinkedIn for all that exposure. There are certain things that you have to do to make sure that your authority is on lockdown and you are known as that expert. So, in today's training, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about 4 key things that you should be thinking about, or you should really kind of pull back the curtain on, not just for yourself, but for the business that you're looking to grow and scale in order to separate yourself from the competition and to really position yourself as the expert. Before we dive into that, Nancy, this is a topic that you and I get asked all the time about, not just being the expert, but everybody starts from zero, right? People are afraid to start putting themselves out there. They're afraid to start doing certain things because, they're not an expert, but they do know, but they're not really sure. So before we get into the 4 key components of what we're going to talk about today, why do you feel this topic of how can I look like the expert that I am online and on social media, on LinkedIn, why does that continue to populate?
It continues to populate because there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of content, there's a lot of people posting, there's a lot of companies kind of showing up in different ways. And I think people more than ever realize, if you have a business, if you are a service provider, if you are a coach or consultant, if you are a professional really in any way, even if you're running the head of a nonprofit, right? We've got to be online in some way, shape, or form. And it's inevitable. And, it all comes down to really harnessing and honing in on building our personal brand and deciding what we want to stand for and what we want to be that person, that really bubbles to the top and showcases, all the things that you can help people do. And so it's kind of, like I said, it's inevitable. And people are really wondering now, okay, well, what's the right way to do it? How can I really set myself apart? Because there is a lot of noise.
Well, if someone was to say to you, what does being a business authority really mean in the first place? Because I think there's a lot of um, cliches and there's a lot of titles kind of being thrown out there. And I think being a business authority is one of them. So how can you clarify to the audience what that actually means?
Okay, I'm going to put this kind of blunt. There are a lot of people right now with squirrel brain, and there are a lot of people who are all over the place with their messaging and what they stand for and things that they care about. And it's a mess, right? I mean, because when you're posting a little bit about everything, no one knows what the hell you do, right? We've got to be consistent. And so, what that really means is, and I'll put it in the simplest way, is it easy for someone to say, "Oh, you need help with XYZ? You need to go talk to Scott," right? You need help with LinkedIn? Awesome. He's amazing. He posts great content. I know he's always showing up every week. He's on the ball. He's an expert at what he does. Go talk to Scott, right? It's the thing is when you're showing up and you're establishing yourself and you're kind of putting that mark in the sand and saying, look, I'm the person who you can come to solve XYZ problem. And you're making that very clear. And in your content and in the authority building way that you show up, whether it be video or long form content, you're remaining consistent. Okay. And I think the thing is people get nervous because they're like, well, if I talk about the same darn thing, here's the thing, guys, right? Just attention nowadays is so hard to get. And it used to be the marketing rule of thumb, right? That it took at least, so many touch points, right? For people to actually understand, oh, this guy talks about LinkedIn sometimes. I think he might do LinkedIn. Now it's like 50 something, it like plus it's like a ton of touch points that people need to kind of connect the dots because there is so much going on. So, yes, like it's establishing yourself in a certain area, it's deciding what you want to be known for, who you want to help. It's really locking in and staying consistent on your messaging. And guys, it's making it easy for people to take next steps to actually hire you for what you do.
So, a couple things that I want to kind of touch on. So, first, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, whether you're listening to this on our podcasts, Networking and Marketing Made Simple, or the Entrepreneur Rescue Mission, you're watching this on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. If you're that coach, if you're that consultant, if you're that service provider, that service professional that feels like they are ready for the next level, just to let you guys know, Nancy and I have opened the doors to our high level expert authority. It's a hybrid coaching mastermind. So there is one-on-one coaching, there is group coaching, there's a portal of training. So if you're needing help optimizing, scaling, and growing your business with all the facets of how you can do that, we could have a discussion to see if it's a good fit for you right now. Why we like opening the doors now as we enter into Q4, which is crazy, is we want to not only help people finish out this year strong, but create that tidal wave of success rolling into 2025. So if you're listening on the podcast, there's going to be a link in the description where you can book a call to talk to myself and Nancy, learn about it, see if it's a good fit, and take one of the remaining spots. If you're watching on social, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, just type the word me, and I will send you our calendar link where you can book a call with us. Now, there's four things that we wanted to kind of go over as far as making yourself the authority in the online space. And we're going to, just to let you know, we're going to correlate this to LinkedIn because Nancy and I go all in with LinkedIn. We teach it, we train on it within our communities, whether it's our programs, our mastermind, our coaching. But just know, you need to be omnipresent. So these strategies, these things that we're going to go over, the four components, they could be applied to YouTube, to Facebook, to TikTok, to Instagram, everything. But we're going to use LinkedIn as the example because, again, for those business professionals that know that other business professionals, coaches, consultants, service providers, their clients are on there, you have to learn how to optimize it the right way. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about, and I'm going to turn this to Nancy, is identifying and focusing on your niche. So, Nance, in relation to LinkedIn, you know how much we love LinkedIn because you can once you identify your niche, you can search and find them. So, talk about the importance of identifying and focusing on a specific niche.
Yeah. So I said this to you the other day, and, I'll say it again. There are billions of people in this world, right? There are plenty of people we can help, and as service providers and people who work, right, with others, there is, I mean, the opportunities are more, right, than we can even handle, right? So choosing a niche and choosing a specific market to really dial in on can be such an impactful thing. And I just want to rewind, right? When I first started building my business, people kept telling me, oh, you got a niche, you got a niche, you got to pick your audience, you got to like narrow in. And in all the businesses, whenever I first started, I resisted it. Okay. Just kind of like a parent telling you what you need to do, and you got to kind of stumble a little bit to figure it out. I fell on my face multiple times because I had the notion in my head, well, with my skills and ability, I can help everyone, right? I can help everyone with what it is that I do. Guys, yes, you can help everyone, but you don't want to help everyone because here's the thing, business gets so much more fun. You get to be so much more of an expert, in a certain, specific niche and helping a certain target audience because things start to connect and things start to get way scalable when you're able to formulate, frameworks and content and all kinds of things that are really going to resonate with the target audience. And guess what? Not only is narrowing down going to get you more effective results, right? Because you are going to be talking directly to, these ideal clients that you want to work with. It really does make things so much simpler and so much more enjoyable. And I'll give you an example of this. So, with my agency, right, I have a social media content repurposing agency. When I first started out, I wanted to help everyone. Okay. Everyone under the sun. I'm like, you know what? We can help everyone with content. Guess what happened? Right? Scott knows I was pulling my hair out because we were helping every different industry, every different person,
Yeah,
coaches from all different backgrounds.
you also learn the lesson of working with the wrong clients to then work with the right
Yes,
ones.
in all different phases, right? So it's very different, guys, working with a company that's making multi-million dollars and a baby little startup solopreneur who doesn't really have a big budget. So everything is so much more, right? Like magnified and intense, and the fear and the perfectionism and things that settle in, right? So I fell on my face multiple times, right? And I finally wised up, right? And I started to niche. Okay. And whenever I started to niche, you know who I picked? The people that I actually enjoyed working with, that were paying me on time, that were able to deliver what we needed so that we could be successful. And everything else got so much easier and better. We were able to grow our client base. We have a wonderful business partner now that we work with. We are really targeted. We actually work mostly with health insurance brokers. We're actually on a side leg just tapping into the nonprofit market. But again, by being super focused and niche, our team loves it because they're like, okay, great. It's the same types of businesses. They're looking for the same kinds of results, and the content is very similar. Okay. We're not going back to the drawing board, and we're not stressing ourselves and overworking trying to figure out every new and different business. So that's where I want you guys to really hone in. And if you want to be that expert, right, you want to be that authority, that person that this niche in this, market goes, oh, you know what? Nancy works with health insurance brokers, and I'm a health insurance broker in an agency. I really think I should work with her. I can't tell you how many times clients have actually said, I am so happy that you specialize in my niche and in my industry. It's such a pleasure because they don't have to sit there and explain all the different terms and all the different comments and all the different clients that they're looking for and the ways that they work with people. It is such a joy. So, identifying and focusing on your niche, guys, it is step one, right? Scott even says it, like, when you target and you identify who it is you're going to be marketing to and how you're going to work with them, when you update your LinkedIn profile, right, which is your, online billboard of saying, this is what I do and here's who I help, it becomes so much easier when you know who to connect with, right? You can plug into the routines, you know what kind of content to create. Everything else gets so much easier, and you usually start making more money. Okay. So,
So yeah, in that example, just using, LinkedIn, because again, you do need to be connecting with the right people, and that's why there's a search engine here. So, that's why Nancy and I, we know that we serve business coaches and consultants the best. So if I was on LinkedIn and I wanted to build my network around the right type of connections that could lead to business, I would go into the search engine. I would search for business coaches, comic consultants, and then I would just go through the general filters that LinkedIn has. I would filter by people. I would then filter by second connections only, since I can then reach out to them. Then I would look through and, I came across someone that specializes in client acquisition for business coaches and consultants. So I would just go through and I would start connecting with people that could potentially be my ideal clients. Because again, there's a secondary part to this. Once you clarify your niche, once you start really building all of those things, you start connecting with the right people, you have the right opportunity then in front of you, which brings us to the second key point that we want to go over today, which is building high quality and valuable content. I've talked about this so much, especially on LinkedIn. It's got the highest organic reach right now. And you don't want to put out just very general, just blah content. You want to over deliver. And I think there's a mindset behind this where a lot of people feel that if they give too much, no one's going to work with them. It's the absolute opposite. You need to give people a reason to take the next step. You need to show and highlight your expertise. That's why Nancy and I always talk about, when you're looking to, build your authority on LinkedIn, especially through your content, posting 3 times a week. I've done episodes just on this, doing a short form or long form video on Monday, a market research poll on Wednesday to find out what problems your network is actually having that you can solve for. And once you know what their problems are, you solve that problem with a relevant long form post on Friday, which could be an image text post or adding an addition to your newsletter. So with that in mind, Nance, why do you feel people are in that fear mentality of building high quality, valuable content, as opposed, you know what? I'm posting, Nancy. I'm just, I'm being consistent. I'm posting positive quotes and I'm posting this, that, or the other. There's a difference between posting content and posting high quality, valuable content. So differentiate the two for the audience, especially when it comes to LinkedIn.
What is it? What was the question? Repeat, please repeat.
The difference between generic content compared to high quality, valuable content when it comes to LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, I want to address two things. Well, of course, high quality and generic, right? I mean, I think you said it, right? As long as you're solving problems for people and you're identifying the pain points that your potential clients have, right, you're going to be someone that they're probably going to want to follow, right? Think about the people that you follow on YouTube or, even LinkedIn and all the different platforms, right? Maybe someone said something really awesome and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to follow this person so that I can continue to receive value and solve my problems, right? That's the most way, right? Let people make money. You're just solving problems, right? At the end of the day. So I think, what pops up for me is a lot of people don't realize, and we get stuck in that, I'm not going to say like just vanity metric type way where we post content and it could be really valuable, right? It could be just this amazing post that you've put together and you put it out there and you get real down on yourself because you get like 2 likes or, maybe 1 clap and that's about it. The fact of the matter is most of the people on LinkedIn are what we call silent engagers. And in fact, I mean, it's probably one of the main platforms, right, that is really known for this. And LinkedIn knows this, right? It knows that most people are scrolling through the content and they're looking and they're not always liking, loving, high-fiving, but they're stopping and they're going, oh, cool. Or they're clicking and they're reading, but they're not necessarily sharing, liking, loving, and engaging like they are on Instagram and Facebook. So the algorithm works different. And so I just want to share with people, create content that answers problems, right? Solves problems, delivers value, and don't get hung up on the vanity metrics, which are the likes, loves, all that stuff. Is it great when you can have conversation and you can get people going in the comments? Absolutely, right? That's high five, superstar, right? But the thing is it's not always going to happen. So continue to post the value added content over time, again, as you are building your network, as you are connecting with the right people, as you yourself are engaging with other people, with content. LinkedIn is going to reward that over time, but I don't want you guys getting discouraged and thinking, oh, well, I posted this thing and it was really valuable and I took time to write it. Don't let that just derail you. Okay. Because that is the fact of the matter. But at the end of the day, creating that high quality content that resonates with your audience, that again showcases your thought leadership, shows that you know what the heck you're talking about, right, is still going to really separate you, so much from the rest of the competition. And if I could just share a really quick story. So I have a clients that I've been working with for, over 3 years at this point, and they just do such a fantastic job being themselves while teaching and showcasing their expertise. And whenever I say being themselves, they're goofy, they joke, they laugh, they have a great time. And I kid you not, they've actually closed deals and worked with companies solely, okay, based on the fact that they do this content every single week on LinkedIn. They show up as themselves. They've heard no one else is doing this, right? And you guys are so awesome. You look like so much fun to work with. It sets you apart. Okay. And where you might not be getting a million bajillion, likes, loves, engagement, all that kind of stuff, it's still worth it. So whether it's through longer form, whether it's through the polls or the video or whatever it is, make sure that your content provides real solutions and value. And again, this is going to showcase you as that expert in your space. Scott,
So the one thing that I wanted to share is
how do you do that? So for
it
everyone listening, he's playing with his settings. It's pretty cool.
yeah, can you see me on the screen,
Yeah,
Nance?
it's awesome.
So if you, this is just an example. Nancy and I did an episode on this topic, which is, there's the silent engagers. What people don't realize is 95 to 98% of people on LinkedIn are silent engagers. Only about 2 to 5% actually engage. And the things that you need to look at are the impressions of your content, because the impressions are how many times LinkedIn has shown that post. So many people focus on the views, they focus on the comments. You need to look at the impressions, which you can see over here. So I did a couple polls and they ranged between 4,000 impressions up to 11,000 impressions. And I can't express to you guys enough, and this builds over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but we get sucked into the vanity metric, and you need to make sure that you are showing up as the expert and really just taking things over time. I did a training the other day and I was on a podcast, and they said, give me the lowdown, give me the reality of not just social media, but LinkedIn. And I said, if you commit to LinkedIn for an entire year, meaning not just connecting and messaging, but if you really put time, energy, and effort into it, you clarify your niche, you provide valued added content, you connect with the right people, and you build those relationships, I guarantee you your business will change. We have a person in our mastermind right now, never really used LinkedIn prior to joining our Expert Authority Mastermind. She shared in our group the other day, over the past week, she's had over 55,000 impressions with her content. She said it's been like 2000x more than she usually gets because we've helped her identify all those things, which actually really bridges to the next point, number 3, which is leveraging social proof and thought leadership. Now, I'm going to take the lead on this because when it comes to LinkedIn, I don't want to say it's one of the easiest things that you can do, but it's probably one of the most, I would say, simplistic things that you can do as showcasing this. And there's a couple different things that you can do to showcase your social proof and thought leadership. So I've talked about this before, that there's a featured content section on LinkedIn, and you can see mine right behind me. You have I have the social proof of my newsletter, which is approaching 8,400 subscribers, which is just mind blowing. I have my free LinkedIn scorecard assessment, the best-selling book that Nancy and I co-authored together earlier this year, The Feel Good Business Model. But I would say the clearest representation of social proof on LinkedIn is your recommendations. So as you can see over here, I have 521 written recommendations. And this is the social proof that you need. You want the words of others speaking to your credibility. You want that social proof. And people say, well, Scott, how did you get that many recommendations? If you read through all of the recommendations and go to the very first one that I ever received, it was in 2012. This is literally 12 years of doing the do. This is 12 years of getting people results. So the big thing is you want the words of others to speak so loudly about how you've helped them, how you can help other people, that it's undeniable that you're the expert in the space that you're in. You want those words of others. And that's the thing. Nancy and I we don't have to sell to people, because people, when they look us up, they see the results, right? They listen to the podcast, they watch the YouTube videos, they read our LinkedIn content, they subscribe to our newsletters, right? They come to our workshops. They see all of the value that we're pouring in, but all the results that people are getting. We have a client right now. He's 3x'd his revenue already this year. It's 9 months in. right? We still have 3.5 months left. He's already 3x'd his business from this time last year. Well, actually, all of last year, which is mind blowing. So, using the recommendation section and the featured content section on LinkedIn will change everything. Nance?
Yeah. Well, I'll just throw it out there too. As someone who, obviously as I got the wheels going, Scott has helped me so much, right? In my own business, reminding me, Nancy, you're working with all these clients, are having such great experiences. Make sure to just, ask for a recommendation on LinkedIn. Guys, it's so easy, right? It's easier than emailing someone and saying, hey, can you send me an email back, with just a testimonial? No, you can just literally connect with them on LinkedIn. Hey, I worked with you. Would you write me a recommendation? I'd be happy to write one back because, guys, recommendations go both ways, right? You can write one for a client that you worked with. You can say, yep, I, worked for them or whatever. And then you put it there. And then, of course, they can write one back. And it's a great way to synergistically, right, build each other's credibility and social proof. It really goes a long way because there are so many phony balonies out there, right? People who are saying, oh, I'm a XYZ expert, yet they literally have no experience. So social proof is huge. I mean, I don't know anyone else, Scott, who has over 500 LinkedIn recommendations. I mean, that is incredibly impressive.
Thank you.
So I mean, again, it is such a stamp of yes, like this person knows what they're doing. There are people backing them up. It's just everything. So again, really easy process and a routine. And honestly, like just on this, conversation that we're having right now, guys, it'll take 2 seconds after listening to this. Make it a point, write down a note, reach out to the last 3 people, 4 people that you've worked with and ask for a recommendation. Go do it today. Even 4, right up on your LinkedIn is awesome. It's better than none.
Yeah, I mean, a simple goal is, reach out to 5 people a month and ask them for a recommendation.
Yeah.
What's the worst case? You're going to get 1 or 2 back. I mean, you compound it over a year, you have 25 recommendations, and you can take those recommendations, you can screenshot them, you can throw them up on other social platforms. There's so much that you can do with them.
Do you know what else I thought of too? Right. Because I knew there's a lot of like other LinkedIn experts out there, people who claim or whatever, who do not have any recommendations. And honestly,
None.
we've
Zero.
actually heard from some people who've worked with them that they were not good. And so the thing is if you're nervous about asking for recommendations
There's
or
a
you're
reason for
like,
that.
that's a problem. And I think really we need to like, go back to the drawing
It's
board
it's
here and
it's a
make
well,
sure
it's a confidence thing. You have to be
you got to
people
deliver
can
value,
yeah, they can sense confidence, but they can also sense a lack of confidence. And I know, and this is the thing, people ask Nancy and I all the time, what's your guarantee? What's your guarantee? Well, we can guarantee that we're going to teach you and
Yeah.
show you exactly what you need to do, but you need to guarantee that you're going to commit to applying what you learn so you can actually see the results.
Well, actually, just to throw in there, right? So, we used to in our mastermind program, obviously, it's very close knit, right? This is the only container that we do what we do in this, where we're doing coaching and strategy and just offering the amount of, us as you get. The thing is we have an application process. We don't want everyone in this program. We want people who are actually going to commit to their business. They're not just interested. Like, maybe I'll dabble. No, it's people who legitimately are committed and ready to take action. Scott and I talk about it every single day at breakfast. In fact, we are the biggest cheerleaders for our clients. We want you to be so successful. We talk about our clients. It's like you guys are like our kids, we're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm so excited, for them to build." The thing is you got to do the work, right? We can show you the way, we can give you the path, we can teach you all the things, but it's the people and you, right, who are really wanting to build their business, who are really committed and the ones who are going to take that action.
Yep.
So, number 4, right, of today to how to build authority is number 4 is optimize your online presence. Okay. Scott, do you mind if I jump into this one?
Go right ahead.
So really, simply, and I'll just kind of wrap this up in a little nutshell is, make sure that your social media, make sure that your website, make sure everything is very clearly stating in a very simple way how to work with you. Okay. And that's it, right? I'm not talking about all kinds of crazy things. the majority of businesses, and I can't even remember where I heard it. It could have been like from Donald Miller or something, said that the majority of small businesses to medium-sized businesses are missing a huge chunk of business because they simply are not making it clear how to work with them. And that sounds so silly and so funny, but sometimes, guys, we get so deep inside the jar that we can't even see the label, right? And that's that old quote. It's like, I can't see the label from inside the jar. We're so in our business, we just think everyone knows exactly what we do, yet we forget to put our website link there. We forget to add, where people can go. Don't make people burn calories trying to work with you. Make it easy. And that's pretty much it, right? Just make it easy for people to hire you.
Well, and bringing it back to LinkedIn, again, to Nancy's point, if you don't have your LinkedIn profile filled out the right way where people don't know what you do, from your headline section to a clickable link where they can book a call, they could visit your website, featuring certain things in the featured content section, making sure that you're posting consistent content, you're clearly stating in the experience section everything that you do and how you help people. How do you expect to build authority if people do not know? So before we wrap up, again, just one final invitation to those that are listening and watching. If you're watching and you would like to book a call with myself and Nancy, because again, to Nancy's point, we keep this container very small and intimate, 10 to 15 people at most. Like that, it's capped at 15. We don't want any more than that because we give a lot of ourselves to this group. We meet weekly as a group. There's quarterly strategy one-on-one sessions. It's one of the only ways that you can work with both of us one-on-one. Actually, it's the only way to work with us together one-on-one.
Well, yeah, and I just wanted to add too, like I've just been seeing a lot of buzz lately where people are like, oh, people are just having programs teaching people how to build. Guys, we run multiple businesses, and between us both, we start businesses, whether it be in person, local, brick and mortar, all the way up to online digital marketing agencies. We've done multiple different kinds of business, even a SaaS company. So the thing is we've been there, we do, and we teach what we know so that you can really speed up, right? The hitting the ground running, knowing exactly what to do. And sorry to cut you off, Scott, but like it literally, I get so excited about it because this is really, I don't even know how long we'll do this program for.
Yep.
But I just know it's a really fun way for Scott and I to work together and to be able to work with clients, and really fulfills us in a way because we really, just like our book, The Feel Good Business Model, we want people to run businesses that feel good, right? Business is not always going to be easy, right? Things are going to be challenging at times, but we want to help you build a business where it does give you that time freedom, that flexibility, the ability to grow and scale it as small or as big as you want. Okay. And that's what we teach in our program.
Yep. So again, if you're watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, just comment the word me, M-E, and we will reach out to you. We'll send you our calendar link so you can book a time. It can't hurt. There's no charge for the call. We would love just to learn about you and your business, and we can tell you more about Expert Authority, kind of give you a tour of the portal and the things that you're going to learn and how we can help you. And if you're listening to either of our podcasts, just go right to the description of the episode. You'll see a calendar link there where it books a time with myself and Nancy. It's a free 30-minute call. And that way we can see, obviously, if you want to take one of the last remaining spots. So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and today's session. If you want to learn more, just more about myself and Nancy and what we're actually doing, all you have to do is go to thetimetogrowt.com. That'll kind of give you a 10,000-foot view of a couple who's not only married in life, but also married in business and the companies that we run together. So we hope you enjoyed the episode. Love and gratitude. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for checking out today's episode. If you could, please support this podcast by hopping over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any place that you're listening to this. Leave us a rating and review. Let us know what you loved most and what you would like to hear more of. But also, if you would like to learn how to take your business to the next level, whether it's using LinkedIn or working directly with myself and Nancy in our intimate group coaching programs, you can head over to www.thetimetogrowt.com or scottaaron.net to learn more. Thank you again for your support, love and gratitude, and I'll talk to you soon.